Okay, I think we're close. And we're here. We're live.
Hello.
Now streaming on Facebook.
Wow, that was seamless. Good job, Asal.
Thank you. I think they've made it really easy for people like Moy to navigate.
Oh,
Thank you for that.
good to hear. Good to hear.
So welcome everybody to today's Facebook Live. As you know, this is our RIOS series where we will be reading from the Recycling Industry Operating Standard. One section each live session, we're going to go over one section and we're going to answer any questions and do our interpretation of that section of the standard, and as well as stories and experiences that we've had. Maya is here with me today. Hi, Maya.
Hello, Asal. Fresh out of the vaccination shop.
Yay, we are, everyone at Glenview Group is officially vaccinated. So now we can have a holiday party or an office.
Yes, yes, and have our kids do a play date.
Yes, exactly. Oh, so great. Okay, today we are going to talk about section 4.1, the recycler's knowledge. And once I open my PowerPoint, we can all look at that together. And here we go. Section 4, implementation. 4.1, recycler knowledge. 4.1.1, competence. For work activities that can affect the quality of the recycler's products or services, or have important environmental impacts, or have important health and safety risks, recyclers shall A, determine the required competence of the persons performing the responsible for the activities. B, ensure that the person is competent based on education, training, skills, or experience. C, keep records of competence. D, acquire competence where needed with external resources or provide training. E, verify the effectiveness of competency training. And F, ensure required training considers the different levels of responsibility, ability, literacy, and required work activities, the RIOS footprint, QESH controls, roles and responsibilities, and frequency. Sorry for my background noise.
Oh, I didn't even notice. So but that's what happens, right? We're so alert now. What is in the background? Here it's a really loud, like AC in this really old office building. But competence, wow. So competence is one of the key requirements before you hire anybody and before you get into business. So number one, you yourselves, the owners, the leaders of the organization are already competent to do so. However, with respect to any standard you're getting, now you have to get into the weeds and really explain what kind of competence you need in order to work within your organization or in the jobs that are required to support your quality, environmental health and safety. So one of the first steps in terms of implementation, you're going to have an organizational chart, which is also required to do when you are kind of outlining your resources. And in an ideal world, you will have a job description for each individual, which is the definition of the competence for that job. When you are defining somebody's job, you are already taking into consideration all of the items that are listed here, especially like different responsibilities, the level of authority, and the required work activities, right? So, and then of course, if they are not competent within that area, you have to determine whether you're going to give that training on the job, or you're going to maybe support them to get that training outside of the organization, bring in trainers from outside to train the whole organization, so on and so forth. But really to summarize 4.1.1 is you need to have a process. And in this case, probably something to do with like HR, on where you are defining your job description, defining what competency you need for each job description, what records you need to show and keep to show conformity to this section, and of course to show that you have checked the background of these individuals who are working for you. And then of course, then we have to go through and for some, make sure that they're all of these are kind of matching up with your RIOS footprint. So yeah, so that was a very long-winded answer or explanation. So Asal, what did I miss?
It was very complete. One time an auditor told me that that is the number one area where they issue nonconformities is competency records. So I think it's important for recyclers to consider this. But also I have a question about, this is a question that I get a lot, which is X so-and-so person has been working in this company for 20 years. This is before we had an ISO system. They have a, okay, I think Maya has to answer a phone call. Okay, so we will get back to that question. So now I'm going to read the next section. Or let's get into the note. Attaining competence may include mentoring, reassignment of work, hiring workers, or contracting with external resources. So as Maya mentioned before, you can provide on the job training, or you can provide external training, contractor training for your employees as well, depending on what type of competence they need to achieve. And I think most of the time, most workers undergo on the job training, and you can distinguish when they're ready to graduate to working on their own without supervision. So that could take 1 week, that could take 2 weeks, that could take a month. And so the organization can set up, you can set up what your on the job or apprenticeship or mentorship training looks like. In terms of reassigning workers, of course, you can, when you reassign people to a different department, one thing to consider is what type of training do I need to catch them up to make them competent to work in the new department. And of course, hiring contractors to do training is another form of competency that the organization provides to their employees. So you're always going to have some sort of onboarding or employee transfer procedure to make sure that you're continuously working on filling in the gaps of the competency requirements and having those records for an auditor to see, because again, this is the highest section of non-conforming issuance is competency records. So
and to go back to your question regarding somebody working in your organization for 20 years, and what do I do in this case? Very easy. Competency statement. That individual writes the competency statement, or you write something for that individual and the top management signs it off, and then you can show that that individual, that's their competency record, because you may not have the job, you may not have the job application, the resume, because the resume is the work within the organization. Or if you do keep records of employee reviews, that can also show as competency record for that individual. So there are easy ways, or probably records that you already have in place to show that. It just depends on that. But I do want to apologize because I have some family emergency going on. So that's why I may be stepping away for a second or two today. Thank you for your understanding.
No worries. So just quickly going back to what you were saying to highlight what Maya was speaking about was 4.1.1b, where your competency can be based, your employee competence can be based on the amount of experience they've had. So if they've been working for you for so long, you know, obviously they have the experience that is required to perform the job. Now the question is of maintaining a record that shows that you've considered this and that they do have this experience. And like Maya said, statement would ensure that that requirement is being met. So 4.1.2 awareness, recyclers shall document and implement plans to ensure that workers are aware of the RIOS policy, QESH roles and responsibilities within the RIOS management system, QESH impacts of their work activities, relevant QESH goals, QESH performance results, emergency response plans, the importance of meeting supplier, customer, and legal requirements, how they contribute to the effectiveness of the RIOS management system, the potential consequences of non-conformance to the RIOS management system, and the benefits of improved QESH performance.
So this really all comes within the training matrix. It's a very easy thing to implement this. Yes, it can be tedious. Yes, it can be time consuming. But once you have documented your RIOS management system, then you take every single process that is related to quality, environmental, health, and safety, including the policy and including the communication with respect to the goals of the management system. And you put them in a simple Excel chart saying that these are the ones that we have to train on. This is our training schedule. And then you have the record for the training of those individuals, meaning it's your sign-in checklist or the attendance from the Zoom meetings or whatever it is. So in a sense, when we are reading through this, right, it just sounds like a whole lot of jibber jabber, but it really makes sense, right? Because what you're doing, you are documenting your management system. And so whatever it is that you document on top level from top management approval, it needs to trickle down and be implemented at every level of the organization. This is why we have the training in order to ensure the awareness 4.1.2.
Right. And a lot of our clients do postings with regards to the management system. So objectives, policy, whether or not we're meeting our objectives. Obviously, your emergency response plan can be a posting, an emergency exit route. So these are just some of the ways where you can disseminate and maintain awareness of all the elements of your RIOS management system. And we are to the end. So join us next week, same time, same place, Facebook Live, where we will dive into the section 4.2 communication section of the RIOS standard. I will put a registration link in the comments of this video so that you can register. It's free. And then you can join us and ask questions live, or chat them to us if you are camera shy, or if you're having a bad hair day, we won't judge you. But if you have any other questions, please visit www.glenviewgroup.com, and we hope you have a great day.
Yes, thank you, everybody. Asal, thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.